Okay, now if you managed to find the link in the last tutorial, you would have ended up on this page in which it claims a 2.9 megabyte download. Of course, that actually is just a small stub that begins a great big download that, if you had gone through it, should have left you with an icon on your desktop similar to this one, except it would have said the Express Edition. But that's good enough. They're virtually the same. The local help would be missing, but online help is still available. And there's no optimizing the compiler built into it, but we don't care about that. We don't care about that. So the next question is, well, the next two questions really are where would we like to put our projects? And I've chosen this location, which seems natural to me. Source, tutorial, CPP, which is where we're going. And so we would like this to become our new workspace area. Okay, now, before proceeding in setting up that workspace, let's just imagine what this might look like in the end. I imagine at least a 2-level deep structure of directories by category of project type. So for instance, you might have, let's say, utilities, utils, and then within this category you might have 2 upper utilities, some other utility, to lower. Those will be the same. You know what I mean? There will be several projects that fall under the category of utilities. Similarly, off of this same level, you might have something like something called common, perhaps, which would be common functionality that all the projects use. And underneath there might be several projects. For instance, string manager, something like that. Maybe something to do with files, and so on. So that would be, so you can see the directory structure as it would appear. Each of these sub projects would have their own C or CPP files and internal header files, and the whole project would export its own a set of header files visible to the outside world. So these guys would look into here for header files, but not in here or here. Now you could go another level deep. That's enough depth of levels. Now besides common, you might have other things depending on your particular project. So getting rid of that, with that in mind, we would like to use this thing to create what's called a solution file, which before this compiler came along was called a workspace file. And the way to do that is like this. First, new project. Now, this is where I want to put that solution file, and I don't want to create a new directory for the solution, but as you'll see, it will do that anyway. I'd like to give it a general name, workspace for workspace, maybe in caps. And unfortunately, I can only create a project. I can't create just a workspace. I do this step first. And it's okay though, because we can fix it up later. This doesn't really matter. We're going to delete this part anyway. Okay, so now we created a solution which is like a workspace called work, which will not be where we want it to be. So what we do is we take this file and move it to where we want it to be, here. Okay, now I can try just clicking it and see what happens. Okay, he gets mad, that's no problem. Okay, now it won't let me delete that for some reason. Now what I could do, there's two ways to go about fixing this. One is to move this thing down so I can see it, and then I can delete it. So we'll try that. Try that. Okay. Work on project. That's not what I want either. Okay. That's how we go. Because I couldn't delete it. Well, really the best way to get rid of it is simply to edit the text. Get rid of this project. Close the file. And now a nice empty project. That's what we wanted. Okay. Now let's imagine that we're going to be running some tests. So perhaps we'll make a directory called tests. In caps. I'm going to add a new project in tests, and we'll call it test 1. Console application, that's like main. And get rid of this stuff. It's of little use for us at the moment. Okay. So now we have a project. We just need a source file. Since we're doing C, let's call it main.c. There we got our main.c. This is what we would like. something like this. But again, we need to go in and change all the defaults. Now, I do have a utility which automates this whole process once you've done it once. First, we don't want this. We don't want the edit continue. It should always be at warning level 4. You always want this part, that's good. We want this to be multi-byte. I prefer to do multi-byte and Unicode as separate project types, separate configurations, I should say. This is a configuration called debug, and another configuration would be debug Unicode or something. Okay, so that's fine. This should be just multi-threaded debug. That means there's no DLL dependence in our program. It's just a single executable with no extra dependency. Pre-compile again, that's good. That Unicode should disappear. Yeah, it's gone. Debugging system default. I think we're okay with the link. Just the standard. So it should be okay so far. The link. Alright. Now I already have my keys set up for doing the build. I guess I'll use the menu. For me it's Shift F8. And it's compiled. Compiled successfully. Where did it go? Here's our test. And here's where the result went. And all of our tests, we have 10 of them, all the results are going to go in here. To run the program under the debugger, you can just press F5, start debugging, or Control F5 the way I have it set up, without debugging. I'll do that one so you can see the output. Whoops, no output. Let's put some output. Five. Okay, so there printed some output. Now, also for the release build, which is really not so important for us, we probably will never use it, but just in case, no debug, 114. You won't have optimization of neurons. It should just be multi-threaded. And then the rest is, no, we don't want that. That's probably fine. No more reference to the debug. No debug. Okay, so that sets us up for at least this one project. And to add more, in fact, I have a little utility that I can make available that will allow you to take any project like this and send it to into this thing, and you can just copy it, and that will copy all the settings, so you don't have to do that part again. Okay, so that's the initial setup, and I guess I'll leave that there. Maybe next time go more slowly through the initial setup, and then start looking at seed. Okay, see you then.